Krishna. Turn these up a little bit. Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. We are back at Matchless Gifts. Haribol! So wonderful to be here with Srila Prabhupada and the Holy Dham. And we're going to read Bhagavatam because we're on duty. And anyone might show up at any moment. So if we have to cut short for a guest, then we're really sorry. But if not, then we're still going to try to read for at least, 10, 15 minutes. So.
Canto 4, Chapter 27, Text 9.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And today for us is the auspicious occasion of Govardhan Puja. But for all of you, it is
Monday.
Yeah, after Prabhupada's disappearance day. So,
All right. Text 9. Of these many sons, each produced hundreds and hundreds of grandsons. In this way, the whole city of Panchala became overcrowded by these sons and grandsons of King Puranjan. Purport. We must remember that Puranjan is the living entity and the city Panchala is the body. The body is the field of activity for the living entity. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Kshetra, Kshetra, Gyan. There are two constituents. One is the living entity, Kshetra, Gyan, and the other is the body of the living entity, Kshetra. Any living entity can know that he is covered by the body if he only contemplates the body a little bit. Just with a little contemplation, he can come to understand that the body is his possession. One can understand this by practical experience and by the authority of the Sastras. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 13, it is said, Deho ne, Dehe no, Ashminyata Dehe. The proprietors of the body, the soul, is the proprietor of the body, the soul is within the body. The body is taken as the Panchala Desh, or the field of activities, wherein the living entity can enjoy the senses in their relationship to the five sense objects, namely Gandha, Rasa, Rupa, Sparsha, and Shabda. That is, sense objects made out of earth, water, fire, air, and sky. Within this material world, covered by the material body of subtle and gross matter, every living entity creates actions and reactions which are herein known allegorically as sons and grandsons. There are two kinds of actions and reactions, namely pious and impious. In this way, our material existence becomes coated by different actions and reactions. In this regard, Srila Narottam Das Thakur states, fruitive activities and mental speculation are simply cups of poison.
Wow.
Whoever drinks of them, thinking them to be nectar, must struggle very hard life after life in different types of bodies. Such a person eats all kinds of nonsense and becomes condemned by his activities of so-called sense enjoyment.
Let me scoot over a little bit in the picture.
Yes. Anyway. Yeah, it's true, isn't it, that when people, like, if you just contemplate a little bit and think, who am I? It can, you can come to that conclusion, like Prabhupada says, that I'm much more than what I'm seeing, I mean, we see people, unfortunately, they have to have artificial leg or arm or whatever, but they're still themselves and they're still continuing as themselves, and they feel within themselves, I'm still me, So I'm not my leg, I'm not my arm. Even if I have a heart transplant, I'm still me, So what is that me? That's the question. I was just reading, because I'm reading this book. It's called, what is it called? The Matchless Gift. Is that what it's called? Little book. Little Prabhupada book. I'm reading that 4 pages a day at the moment for Kartik. And Prabhupada in that is saying that he's referring to his travels in Russia, all these different departments and this and that, but there was no department for the soul, for who you are. You know, it goes all the way around the houses, education, but it doesn't get to the point. And that's why we feel dissatisfied, you know, at the end of the day, because it just doesn't get to the point.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
This microphone's a bit weird.
Yeah, maybe just hold it. Thus, the field of action and reactions by which one's descendants are increased begins with sex life. Puranjana increased his whole family by begetting sons who in their turn begot grandsons. Thus, the living entity being inclined towards sexual gratification becomes involved in many hundreds and thousands of actions and reactions. In this way, he remains within the material world simply for the purpose of sense gratification and transmigration from one body to another. His process of reproducing so many sons and grandsons results in so-called societies, nations, communities, and so on. All these communities, societies, dynasties, and nations simply expand from sex life. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Maitunadi Grihamedi Sukham Hitucham, Bhagavatam 7:9-45. A Grihamedi is one who wants to remain within this material existence. This means that he wants to remain within this body or society and enjoy friendship, love, and community. His only enjoyment is in increasing the number of sex enjoyers. He enjoys sex and produces children, who in their turn marry and produce grandchildren. The grandchildren also marry and in their turn produce great-grandchildren. In this way, the entire earth becomes overpopulated, and then suddenly there are reactions provoked by material nature in the form of war, famine, pestilence, and earthquakes, etc. Thus, the entire population is again extinguished simply to be recreated. This process is explained in Bhagavad Gita 8:19 as repeated creation and annihilation. Bhutva praliyate. Due to a lack of Krishna consciousness, all this creation and annihilation is going on under the name of human civilization. This cycle continues due to man's lack of knowledge of the soul and Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, interesting. Prabhupada very much stressing on, as he says in many places, that the whole world is going on simply by sex desire. So, and here Prabhupada literally just lays it out, nails it down, that, you know, generation after generation, whole nations are simply because we have an innate attraction for sexual activity, which is the stimulus for procreation, which is what populates the whole world. So in the third canto, Srila Prabhupada, in the purports and verses of Lord Kapila Dev instructing his mother, describes this point that simply because of the little bit of stimulus and pleasure that comes from, you know, that sex life, then one is procreating children. So for, I think even there it says, for like a moment of enjoyment, one has to live the rest of one's life dealing with the byproduct. So it's like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
At the same time, it can feel that this is getting quite derogatory towards being a family person and having children. But we should go back to where Prabhupada quoted Prahlad Maharaj, and it says, Agrihamedi, not Agrihasta. So Agrihamedi, although I think I've mentioned before that I heard somewhere that, not somewhere, from a senior devotee, that a Grihamedi is actually quite an advanced person. Grihamedis perform yagyas and do puja but they do it for the purpose of getting some material benefit, some material pleasure, so that they can enjoy sense gratification. But they're still quite regulated and quite devoted in one sense, or quite pious. So, I mean, most of us certainly wouldn't even fall into the Grihamedi category. At best, you know, we would be Grihamedis. I mean, I'm saying, were it not for Krishna consciousness. But the point of having children and all of this can be understood simply from the perspective that if we're grihastas and we're trying to serve the Lord, then it can be done as an act of service.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Nothing.
Okay, whether you want to read, or is it my turn? Your turn.
Wait, have we got time?
That's why I asked you what you thought, because I could sense you were hesitating.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the sense of
In
hesitation,
the hesitation.
because we don't know who's going to walk in.
Exactly.
Then at least we got the Bhagavatam out, and we read and discussed for about 10 minutes in
With
the presence of
Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
And in this holy tirtha
Absolutely.
of 26nd Avenue Master's Gifts.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you all very much. Don't forget to read Bhagavatam and stay inspired. And I hope you had a beautiful Prabhupada Disappearance Day and Govardhan Puja. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.